I'm going to introduce you to something brand new, but not fully explain it other than with this crop. I know, it's really annoying, but I want to introduce this element now before we go any further, so then we can build on our knowledge as we go forward. It will all become obvious, I promise. So what we're going to do is we're going to work with an adjustment layer. So follow along and or just follow what I'm doing, and yeah, I'll show you. So we create an adjustment layer. I'm not going to explain it yet. Let's just right click, and as you would create a new bin, we're going to go to a new part where we haven't been to before, which is new item. Just like you could create a new bin down here if you didn't have any empty space here to right click, you can also click this here which says new item, and you've got the list here, but I prefer it up here because you can see it easier. So we're going to create a new adjustment layer. Remember how we create a new sequence? Oh, we have been in here before. We're going to create a new adjustment layer. Okay, so done. Now, just like with the color mat, it will ask you what you want the settings to be. It automatically populates it with our sequence settings, which obviously with this is 1920 by 1080 and 25 frames a second, pixel aspect ratio, square pixels 1.0. Don't ask me what that means. Never touched it before. You set up your sequence and your project and it just automatically does it. So don't worry about that. Press OK. And just like when we created an image, the adjustment layer comes up in here. I don't have anywhere to put this right now, so I'm just going to leave it there. So what is an adjustment layer? Well, let's drag it on and we'll see. So just like with an image, when we dragged in the image and it came at that size, an adjustment layer, let's undo that. An adjustment layer is kind of like an image. I'll drag it in and show you. As you can see, it's the same size. But if we zoom over and let's click over a part where the adjustment layer is, what's the difference? Let me delete that. Did you notice anything different? Control Z to bring it back. Did you notice anything different? No, good, because nothing's changed. Nothing has changed at all. What this adjustment layer does is it affects everything below it. Okay, so but in a certain way. So if I move my position or my scale, it does nothing. But that's not what it's for. In this instance, we're going to crop, but I'm going to give you a very, very quick view of, let's just go into color. And this is what a lot of people use for color grading. So I know you haven't seen this area before, but let's say we want to affect the color and we go exposure. Oh, that's turned up the exposure of what's below it, but not when it's not over it. Because what you're doing is you're affecting this rather than that. Why would that be helpful? Let me just undo that and come out of there. That would be helpful because if you've got the same change that you want to apply to all of these, then you could just put it on an adjustment layer and just like you did an image, drag it out. You following me? And then that change would be affected on everything. So what do we want to do right now with the crop? Well, I'm going to show you. I'm going to do it on this clip, and then I'm going to show you why we do it on an adjustment layer. So effects, crop, and we're going to drop a crop on this first clip. And what I'm going to do, just like we animated in the left and the right and the top and the bottom, I'm going to do a slow animate in to crop in the top and the bottom. If I do that by 10%, the top by 10% and the bottom by 10%, you'll see that that makes absolutely no difference on the bottom. Why is that? That's because the position is not where we had it. If I reset that and reset the scale, everything is different. And that's because we had our anchor point different. Remember what we did before on previous clips where it just wasn't quite right and we moved it around and we moved around the anchor point, that still had that information in there. The reason why not doing the crop on here would be, say we wanted that to be where it was at and we wanted it to stay where it was at. We wouldn't want to do it on this clip. But let's just reset everything so we're there and we now have our crop on the top and the bottom. Do you understand what I mean? If that was there where we wanted it, you couldn't apply that effect to this clip because the crop wouldn't come in at the right place. I hope that makes sense. So we're cropped in the top and the bottom and looks good. That looks great. But then the crop's not there. Let me take this a little bit further. I want to animate this in and out. Okay, so I want it in by here. So we're going to stopwatch the top and stopwatch the bottom. We're going to go back a little bit and then I'm going to reset the top and the bottom. You know what we're doing now. We're right clicking the two and we're easing out. Going to bring that right to the beginning and we're going to ease in for the end of that animation. So let's see how that looks. You've seen this before. It's almost like this is going to be cinematic, but it's not on that clip. So if we wanted that all the way along, we'd have to now add the crop to all of these, but without the animation, and that would be a real pain. So I could copy and paste these attributes to the adjustment layer, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to undo all of these. I'm going to show you how good an adjustment layer is when you use it like this. Not many people know you can do this with an adjustment layer, by the way. A lot of people just know about the color grading and the color changing across multiple clips. Not many people know about this. So I'm going to, where's that crop? Is that crop? Oh, that crop is still on. I'm going to, this line through here, that turns off the effect. It doesn't delete it. It just turns off the effect. But I'm actually going to delete the crop. To do that, I just literally click crop and press delete, and that crop is out. But that obviously is on this clip. So I'm now going to do the same, but I'm going to do it on the adjustment layer. Okay, so I'm going to grab the crop, and don't forget, I'm not putting it in here, I'm dragging it onto the adjustment layer, just to make sure the crop goes where I want it to. And we shall say, maybe about here, I want the top and the bottom to be at 10%, but I'm not at the beginning, so let's just drag them off, and now add the 10% there, and the 10% there. Now there's not much space here, so let's tilde to zoom in, and I want to ease out the beginning and ease in the end. I'm not too sure if that's going to be a little bit too quick. It's only over a second. Let's take it back and let's see. I'd like it a little bit longer. So how do we do that? Well, as you can see, because we're using the adjustment layer, and the adjustment layer, I've dragged that over the whole clip here, it's really hard to see. So this again is where tilde comes in. But let's play it to where I want it to stop. About there. So now I've got my playhead where I want it to stop. I go up to effects controls, tilde in again, and I'm just going to drag these two keyframes and snap them to the playhead. Don't forget, if things aren't snapping, make sure snapping is turned on. It's so important. However, if things are snapping you don't want them to, just toggle that off when you need to, but I would leave it on indefinitely. So now we have that crop coming in on that clip, but then we're going to the next clip. But remember, the crop is animated on the adjustment layer, so that crop will now stay all the way through the whole entire sequence. Now, why would you want these crop bars? Well, a lot of people like them because it makes it more cinematic, but also the beauty of having these crop bars is you've also given yourself 20% room to move. 10% at the top, 20% at the bottom. Remember, if we didn't have this, if I just highlight this and press 0, because we've got that as a shortcut to enable and disable. I've disabled that for now. But remember, if I wanted this more up, this clip, but we're 100%, if I start moving it, you see how I've got the black bars because I'm running out of space. I've got no room to move. However, if I re-enable the adjustment layer with highlighting it or selecting it and pressing 0, if I now move in here, those black bars hide a multitude of sins. You see where I can come up to? So that can really help to reframe a shot which isn't quite there, and you don't want to zoom in to maybe lose quality or anything. So we can play through this and think, right, yeah, okay, that's okay. I'm happy with that framing. I was quite happy with all of this framing really, but that framing, I'd like to maybe bring it up a little bit. There you go. So let's place that there. Obviously the black bars will kind of get in the way a bit, but it gives you so much freedom. Again, with here, we don't need as much from the top, less from the bottom. Let's bring that all the way up. I'll bring that up a little bit as well. That's okay. Maybe bring that down a little bit, actually. See what I'm doing? I'm just going through, highlighting the clips that I want to affect. That's good. Maybe bring that up a little bit as well. So I'm getting more of the peel. Don't forget, this is a pizza peel. You're very welcome. Always adding value. And yeah, looks good. Looks good. I'm going to bring that up a little bit. I know I'm kind of going through this now where actually the part of the lesson is showing adjusting a crop, but I think it's important to also look at when you've affected something, how to then make it work for you. And that literally needs to be more in shot. But that animating in of the crop just really, really helps a whole lot. And there's something that I wanted to do, and I actually recorded on a previous clip, and then I trashed that. I trashed the audio, so I've had to re-record it again. Is let's add a bit of animation to this as well, because I want to do a slow pan across, and I think now that we've got the black bars, we can really go cinematic. But the thing is we've got the bars on the top and the bottom, so we've got that freedom of movement up and down, maybe about to there, but we haven't got the freedom of movement side to side, you see. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to zoom in a little bit, because I want a pan from maybe, well, I'll just show you. Let me bring up those save margins, and I'm going to punch in by, let's say 85. No, remember 85, we'll take it down. So let's say maybe 120 actually. Let's just go in by 20%. And I want to reframe that, because I know it kind of stays still, but I want to give it a little bit of a travel across the screen. So if we start there, I'm looking here now, the edge of the crust. Have we got room to get over to there? So I'm looking at that bit of edge of the crust there. We've got room to travel between those 2 points. Cool. So I'm going to keyframe that. I'm not going to ease these because I'm going to do it throughout the whole of the clip. Keyframe that and put that to the end. I'm happy there. I'm going to move that over to there, bring that to the end. And now we've got the black bars that have cropped in at the beginning, and it looks all really cinematic. And then we've got that slow movement going across, which wasn't in the original. You see how just with a few little tweaks to your keyframing, you can really level up the quality of the whole of the video. Let's have a quick watch back now with the voiceover, with the music, just how much more cinematic this is looking as we're building on it. When we think of outdoor cooking, we think back to nature, log fires, open flames, and a good char on the food being served. That is why our biggest focus for our products is making sure you get that authentic wood-fired taste. When it comes to pizza making, our #1 pizza oven is the go-to family choice. We have carefully designed the oven so that there is a perfect flow of heat throughout, and you can be cooking in as little as 15 minutes. The steel pizza base is different from the traditional stone used in most ovens, as we believe from rigorous testing that this gives you the perfect crisp base to your pizza. Good. I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. It's just, it's all coming together now. So going on from this section, we're going to look more at the color section with the adjustment layer and without the adjustment layer. So I'm glad I've introduced the adjustment layer at this point, but by now you should be feeling quite confident with keyframing and at least what you can start to do with keyframing. We'll be building on with that, but yeah, we're doing well. You're quite into this course now. I really do hope you're enjoying it. Make sure that you do go over any section that you don't think you quite got and go over it again. You're not going to retain all the information straight away. But yeah, I'm excited where this is going to go next.